She came to us with this grand idea, and we titled this evening Black to Bluegrass. We're just thrilled to have Laura Love and Harper's Ferry.
Okay, so tonight we are featuring the African American roots of bluegrass music.
You know, over the years, for the last 20 or more years, I've been playing roots festivals, bluegrass festivals like Merlefest and Telluride and Rocky Grass, and just fabulous festivals. But I often found myself to be the only person of color on the entire bill, and sometimes in the entire audience, you know. And it's kind of lonely being the only fly on the buttermilk sometimes, you know. And I would have this sort of a longing that other black people would revisit and reclaim some of this music, or just feel like it was cool again to listen to and to create. And I said, I'm having this idea, you know, I would love to have an African Americana night where we feature the roots of roots music. I mean, you know, it's not so much of a stretch because, you know, Bill Monroe credits a black man named Arnold Schultz, you know, heavily for a lot of his songs and his sound and the inspiration. I knew Ruthie Foster. I knew she had to be a part of it. And I wanted to be in there with my new group, Harper's Ferry. And so I got in line a little bit and was checking into a couple of black bands that I hadn't heard of, and Ebony Hillbillies and the Chocolate Drops were just sort of a dead even tie in my mind, but the festival said, well, we're already talking to the Chocolate Drops. Okay. I called everybody up. They said, yeah, let's do it, let's do it. And we just kind of all made room in our schedules, and then the Chocolate Drops dropped out. Just at the very last minute, and it was like, oh no, this could be a really tough deal. But then it sort of created an opening in my mind and in the festival itself for the Ebony Hillbillies, who they moved me. My heart is always with the underdog, and I want to get to the people, the oldsters that are slogging it out still in the trenches, who may be gone before they get any little bit of their due. I mean, you know, AR, he's every bit as moving and compelling as Ralph Stanley or John Lee Hooker. My new group, Harper's Ferry band, is all people of color except for Orville Johnson, and he's just like the funkiest Caucasian I know. And I just said, you know what? You are so funky and I love you so much, we're going to make you an honorary Negro. And so, so you know, if you're going to have a token white guy, Orville's the guy to go with. For the last 5 years, a handful of years, I've noticed there are a few, like just trickling in some black people who are getting excited about this music again. Banjo was really identified with black people for a long time. You know, the banjo is an African instrument. It was called the banjar in Africa, and it came here, and then you had this Piedmont style old-time music which really featured the banjo, and then it became sort of associated with minstrel shows. I actually went to a website called blackbanjo.com, and sure enough, there's like, you know, probably across the entire United States, maybe 300 black banjo players, and we hired this guy named Turbo, and he's like this kid from Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and he calls himself a hip-hop banjo player, but he's equally comfortable with Pluck Ol' Hen and those kind of songs, and he's just a doll. He's just like throwing his little gang sign. I'm like, hey Turbo, learn this one. Bill Monroe. Tanya Richardson, she's Ruthie's bass player, and at a festival in Canmore, Alberta. Ruthie was there, and I was like, God, Tanya, your bass playing is so amazing. You just have such an incredible ear. I said, you know, God, I just wish you played the fiddle, because I'm thinking about putting this band together called Harper's Ferry. And she goes, yeah, I could probably do that. And so she did. She just did it, and she just blew me away. And then we had a bones player, Clifton Irvin, born in Tyler, Texas. He played with the Ebony Hillbillies. He was seminal in helping the Carolina Chocolate Drops get together. In my heart, he just stole the show. He makes his own bones, and I said, well, you know, how do you make the bones? And he's like, well, you just go down to the butcher shop and you ask them, do they have any bones left from their cows, and then you make them bones and you bleach them up and then you play them. So I said, okay, good enough for me, you know. Tori Trujillo. I heard her sing in Michigan, and I just said, girl, I want to sing with you, you know. It's important to me to sing the civil rights songs, as well as, you know, the spirituals and the bluegrass. The story of Harper's Ferry is white man John Brown was incredibly anti-slavery. He decided that slavery was going to end by his hand. Wherever slavery was, he would go there and try to abolish it. he hoped to get together a militia that were going to take over this munitions factory, Harper's Ferry. Well, his last stand was at Harper's Ferry. It was just a massacre. He was basically convicted of sedition and treason and arming the enemy, as in the slaves, and they hung him. That was really what began the Civil War. For me, it's never really escaped me that Negro spirituals and bluegrass music are the collision of cultures. We've got the Northern European, the fiddles and the Celtic influence
out of the British Isles.
Out of the British Isles, and then you've got the banjo and a lot of the gospel music and spiritual influence, a lot of those melodies right out of Africa and right out of slavery. I've just gotten really fascinated with race relations and how that has affected the music that we have today. When I was researching some of the songs I wanted to do for Bluegrass, I started kind of looking into my own family history. And all the white people I know, or a lot of the white people I know, can say, I can trace my family back to the Mayflower, our family crest in Ireland, but most of the black people I know don't know all that much about their heritage because of slavery. And so I realized how relevant this stuff still is, how recent the history is, and how, despite all of the horrible legacy of slavery and all that, we got some pretty cool music out of it.